Alright folks, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be dehydrating some beef jerky. Getting ready for another adventure coming up and trying to save a little bit of money. Also, it allows me to put the ingredients that I want into it. So without further ado, let's get going. Alright, let's go with the shopping cart first. Alright, starting off from left to right here, we have 2/3 of a cup of Kikkoman soy sauce, 2/3 of a cup of Worcestershire sauce, 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of red pepper, and it's going to be 1 tablespoon of honey. Also, what I use is a London broil. This is 3 1/3 pounds. I got for $14, $14.76 to be exact, for 3 1/3 pounds. You could use skirt steak as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all the ingredients up, mix them together, slice the beef up, and then I will go ahead and marinate it for about half a day to a day. First thing you're going to want to do with this is cut yourself down into some good even portions here so you can deal with it. And you're going to want to cut with the grain. Now, one thing that you're also going to want to do is you want to take off any excess fat that you have on this. That has a tendency to go rancid and won't preserve as long. Those will be saved for the dog, which they will love me for that. And a good thing to do, which I actually probably took this out a little bit too early, is to put it in the freezer for a little bit. And what that'll do is it'll make cutting the strips a little bit easier. But as I said, just make sure you get all the fat off of it. And what you're going to do is you want to slice them probably about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch slit thick, okay? So not too awful thick, but not too awful thin either. Okay? You want that marinade to really absorb into the meat. Alright, you want a good sharp knife for that as well. So I actually use a serrated knife with a very sharp point on it. Allows it for it to cut a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this up, and then we'll get to the next step. Now that I've got all the meat processed, I've cut out all the excess pieces of fat. I'm going to go ahead and combine that into the marinade. Here's where you get to have fun playing with your food. I'm just going to mix all that together. Make sure I coat everything over here. Separate the pieces. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take this and stick this in a plastic bag. Make sure you pour all the excess marinade. Take the bowl rinsed out. Go ahead and double zip this in a gallon freezer bag. Try to get as much of that air out as you possibly can. That way all that marinade stays in contact with the meat. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this, I'm going to stick this inside this bowl, put it in the refrigerator, and every few hours until tomorrow, I'm just going to, well, except with the exception of tonight, I'm going to go ahead and mush it up and just make sure that everything stays in contact with that meat. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to go ahead and stick it on the dehydrator trays. So until then. Folks, so the meat is actually set in the refrigerator overnight. I've taken it around and moved it around several different times. So it's been 24 hours in the fridge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the packaging here, and I'm just going to line it up on some paper towels and get the excess moisture off of it. Alright, now that I've got all the meat under there, I'm just going to take some of the residual moisture off of that, so when I put it in the dehydrator, it won't be nearly as moist. With all that said and done, go ahead and line the trays with this, alright? Now, you don't want these too close together, as you want the circulation of the air to get between them all. They will shrink, so you can get them relatively close. And you can get quite a bit on one tray. So if some of them are touching, it's not that big of a deal. As I said, these will shrink quite a bit. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and rather than setting this on the meat setting before I plug it in and I can't hear it anymore, this has got several different settings on it, and as you can see right here by the meat setting there, it's at 165. Now you could obviously do whatever you like on this, but I choose to set mine like right at the middle of the road. And the reason for that is I don't like my meat to cook. I kind of like it to just dry slowly. And I use actually a little bit lower temperature. Another thing that I always get asked questions about is what kind of dehydrator I use in every single video that I've ever done. So this is an Open Country Adventure Campwear food dehydrator. I bought this at Bass Pro Shops many years ago. So I bought 4 extra trays, which I ordered offline. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make the house smell really, really good. I'm going to put this on between 9 and 12 hours, and then tomorrow I'll check it out. Alright, I let that go in the dehydrator for about 12 hours, and I actually went ahead and dropped the temperature all the way down to the lowest setting, which was like 95 degrees I believe it was, just to let it dry out a little bit more evenly. It was still cooking a little bit with a medium temperature, so after about 2 hours I just dropped it all the way down. As you can see there, I've got 19.5 ounces of beef jerky, and that's probably about an ounce shy considering we ate some of it to try it out. It tastes great. Considering you get about an ounce per dollar in the stores for the cheapest of beef jerkies, like a Walmart brand, and obviously the price goes up from there. This is a pretty good deal to be made by yourself. I told you like $14.70 something for the beef, which was not on sale, so I'm sure you can get it actually a lot cheaper than that. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will try to answer that as best I can. If you have any suggestions after trying this recipe that you think can make it better, please leave them in the comments below too. That way anybody who does happen to come across this can hopefully filter through those and take some of your suggestions to make it better. But until next time.